Hey everyone, welcome back to those of you that are subscribed, and if you're new here, thanks for checking out the video. My name is Mike, and today I'll be covering my first experience taking my 2021 Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus on a long distance road trip. Now, this trip was from my home in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, up to Charleston, South Carolina. While I was planning this trip, I got this idea to test my route planning skills against the Tesla AS navigation to see who could plan a more accurate and efficient route. And so, on the way up, I planned the route and the charging stops. On the way back, it was the car's turn. So, let's see who will win and begin today's video. On the trip up, I planned to make stops in West Palm Beach, Florida, Titusville, Florida, Yulee, Florida, and Hardeeville, South Carolina, before making it to Charleston, South Carolina. I departed Fort Lauderdale at 5:55 a.m. at 100% battery. The roads were fairly clear, and this was a quick 45-minute drive. At the first stop in West Palm Beach, I pulled up at 74% battery, which was a distance traveled of 53 miles. I planned for a 15-minute stop to bring the battery back up to 90%. I ended up having to charge for 17 minutes and got up to 91%, mainly because I was checking out the beautiful sunrise. I left at 6:57 a.m. and drove 2 hours and 7 minutes up to Titusville, where I pulled in at 9:03 a.m. with 17% battery. This was a total distance of 146 miles. I planned for roughly a 30-minute charge here to bring myself back to 90%, but ended up having to charge for 50 minutes to bring myself up to 95% to get to my next stop safely. I departed at 9:53 a.m. and got back on the road for a 2 hour and 22-minute drive up to Yulee, Florida. I got to the supercharger at 12:15 p.m. with 15% battery and a total distance traveled of 159 miles. I once again planned for a 30-minute charge to bring myself up to 90%. This charge ended up taking 43 minutes to bring myself to 90%, where I departed at 12:58 p.m. with 90% battery. The next trip took 1 hour and 46 minutes to get to Hardeeville, South Carolina, where I arrived at 2:44 p.m. with 25% battery. This was a distance of 127 miles. I anticipated a 20-minute charge here to get myself up to about 75% battery. This ended up taking 23 minutes to get to that 75% with a departure time of 3:07 p.m. The final leg was a distance of 102 miles and took 1 hour and 47 minutes to arrive to my destination in Charleston with 26% battery. Now let's take a look at the return trip and then we'll compare. So as you can see here, the GPS states that the stops I will have to make are Hardeeville, South Carolina again, Kingsland, Georgia, Daytona Beach, Florida, and finally Vero Beach, Florida, before arriving home. I started out at the supercharger in North Charleston and left at 9 a.m. exactly with 80% battery. To drive to my first stop back in Hardeeville, South Carolina was a distance of only 91 miles and took 1 hour and 32 minutes. I arrived with 37% battery. The GPS originally stated I would need to charge for 20 minutes to continue on my trip. I was there for 21 minutes and left at 10:53 a.m. with 77% battery. The next drive took 1 hour and 34 minutes and spanned 114 miles. I arrived at 12:27 p.m. with 14% battery. The GPS originally called for 30 minutes of charging, and I ended up charging for 33 minutes and got up to 82% battery. I left at 1 p.m. exactly and continued on my way. The next stop would be 126 miles away and bring me back into Florida. I arrived at Daytona Beach at 2:51 p.m. with 14% battery. The GPS called for 25 minutes of charging here, and I ended up charging for 30 minutes to get to 79% battery and left at 3:21 p.m. The next stop would be in Vero Beach, which was 117 miles away. I arrived here at 4:58 p.m. with 15% battery. The GPS called for 25 minutes of charging here, and I ended up needing to charge for 36 minutes to get up to 85% battery. I left at 5:34 p.m. to finish the final stretch of my drive back home. This was a distance of 129 miles, and I ended up arriving at 7:21 p.m. with 12% battery. Alright, so let's compare the numbers and see who won. For the trip there, based on my route, drive time to South Carolina should have been about 8 hours and 55 minutes, and I planned for 1 hour and 35 minutes of charge time. My actual drive time was 8 hours and 46 minutes, but my charge time was 2 hours and 13 minutes, giving me a total trip of 10 hours and 59 minutes. I'll also note that I was traveling at about an average speed of 75 miles an hour and only hit some bad weather for a few minutes where I was traveling under the speed limit. For the trip back to Florida, based on Tesla's route, drive time should have been about 8 hours and 9 minutes, with 1 hour and 40 minutes of charge time. The actual drive time was 8 hours and 21 minutes and exactly 2 hours of charging, for a total trip of 10 hours and 21 minutes. So, based on these results, the Tesla AI planned a faster and more efficient route and saved me 38 minutes on the way back. I know that there are other factors that could be involved, such as weather or traffic, but I really didn't hit any traffic on this trip, and there was actually more weather slowdowns on the way back. Overall, I think it's safe to say that in the future, I'll trust the Tesla AI to plan the route while I sit back and continue to let autopilot do the driving. I know this video is very technical with a lot of numbers being thrown out there, but I hope it's been helpful and educational. I know I learned a thing or two on this trip. If you're still with me, I really appreciate it, and I appreciate your support. If you're not subscribed, please consider doing so and giving this video a thumbs up. Also, if you care to share a thought, leave a comment below about the video or any questions you have about my experience. Stay tuned for more in the very near future. Once again, my name is Mike. See you in the next video.